I just feel like she got the ick, and it's like when you've got the ick, that's it, isn't it? It's like
something you can't shake.
Good morning and welcome to Love Island the morning after. We are here to mop up all the spilt tea from last night's episode. I'm Amy Hart.
And I'm Indiyah Polack. And back again this morning, we have the one and only Jackie.
hello, darling.
Good morning.
Good bloody morning.
Jackie, what an episode. Were you surprised by that jumping?
Literally, I'm surprised I still have a voice because I was screaming so much. I was shooketh.
There was a lot of audience participation during that episode.
Oh, a lot.
A lot. Right, I think we should chat about the dumping.
Let's get into it.
So, both our most popular boy and girl from last week have been unseated. And they haven't even gone to being like massively divisive characters in the bottom. They're just in the middle of the road. And obviously, Sean has been avenged. He has unseated Scott as the most popular boy and most popular girl. I was very, very shocked.
Me too.
Samie.
I was surprised by that, actually.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what Samie did for the public to vote her as favourite girl.
We all like
Not
an
in a
underdog.
bad way.
No, we all like an underdog, don't we?
Do you know what?
And
In the situation
she's
with
had,
Lucinda,
Yeah, she handled it well.
She had her man stolen.
Yeah.
She's then, I always say this, but it's all about timing. When that vote came, she just kissed the boy that she's been seeing for over a week. She's had him stolen away. Then he told her that they couldn't kiss anymore.
Kissing ban.
And he wanted to get on to know everyone else. And then the vote came. I mean, Samie, I do think, was probably favourite girl because of the Lucinda situation. And the public did send a clear message because Lucinda was in the bottom three. They're in this triangle. Ciaran's in the middle. Ciaran's not top or bottom. And the two girls are top and bottoms. The public are saying, Ciaran, stick with Samie.
The public are really standing on business.
Oh,
like
they are.
everyone that ended up, in that position, be it least favourite boy, favourite girl, it's very much like, we know why this is happening. It's very clear from your actions, you are now in this position.
And then alongside Lucinda, we had Jess and Leanne. And then the three boys were Connor, which I did sort of expect. We haven't really seen much of him. And then Curtis. And I think that's actually the first time he's ever been in the bottom three as a solo.
Out of everyone there, I was quite surprised by Curtis being in the bottom three.
Do you think that for people like Connor and Leanne, do you think it was their couplings that saved them? So like anyone that's voting for Scott or Whitney
Absolutely.
will then vote for Connor or Leanne as well.
Yeah, I mean, Whitney has a
100%.
really big fan base, doesn't she?
Yeah.
And then so does Scott. So I think that really helped them both.
Yeah.
You say that, but Whitney was in the bottom last week.
But also,
True.
I genuinely do think it is down to their character and their behaviour because like you're saying now, Whitney was in the bottom, but that was because I do think, at the start of the season, not many people were really keen on how she handled certain situations.
Yeah.
Obviously now we're seeing a different side to Whitney. We're seeing that, she is a bit of a slow burner. She is quite blunt and straight talking, but she is a really nice girl and she is a girl's girl.
Also, as well, it might have been the shock thing of people last week. Like, the vote comes at the end of the episode. Some people probably like, oh, I want to go to bed now, whatever. Or people watch on catch up. And then their favourite Whitney is in the bottom three. So they're like, right, next time there is a vote, I will be ready.
Yeah, and also people just assume other people are going to vote, don't they?
Yeah.
I'm guilty of that sometimes being like, oh, they'll get loads of votes. But you can't. You've got to vote for the
That's
people you
how
love.
I felt when Will Young won Pop
Yes,
Idol. I
exactly.
thought I won't vote for Gareth because he's probably going to win, and he didn't. So.
Yeah.
I'm honestly living for the drama, laughs and love triangles of week one in the Love Island villa. Now let's charge it and get into the unreal pre-love looks worn by our all-star Islanders. Adding a touch of casual to their nighttime glam, the girls channel old school vibes and coordinating varsity jackets. Jess turned Charlie and Sean's heads in a gorgeous retro fake chainmail and later this vintage Georgia varsity jacket. They looked amazing. But let's not forget our Villa boys. Scott brought back a Villa classic. The Axel Arigato denim jacket has been beloved by ex-Islanders like Harry and Cash in Series 12. Now, Scott and Leanne's first date is giving couple. Leanne looks stunning in a jaded dress paired with an authenticity guaranteed Gucci handbag, while Scott styled an Arne shirt and shorts. I can't wait to see what eBay and the Islanders have in store for us in the coming weeks. eBay, sponsors of Love Island All-Stars. So sadly for Shaq and Jess, it is the end of their Love Island journeys. Were we shocked by that?
No, not by Shaq. I think... Yeah, there's been a lot of emotions. There's been a lot of strictness. And I think probably the public were just like, we're kind of over this Shaq. Yeah, we've seen Shaq go through different motions and I just feel like, it was his time.
And also where he's not sort of tagged onto a girl at the moment.
Yeah.
It's like if someone is a massive fan of Belle and they're voting for Belle, then they'll vote for Sean because they've got good connection.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think he hasn't got anyone to tag onto, so he doesn't pick up those extra votes of like, I want to keep him in because I like these two together.
Yeah, and I think that the same goes for Jess. She's not really in like a secure situation with anyone. And then if we take her romance out of it, Jess hasn't really, done anything. She's obviously had a situation with Whitney. We've not really seen any strong girl code with Jess. Like, there's not been anything for us to be like, okay, do you know what, Jess? Favorite girl.
Yeah.
So I think, everyone's kind of made their bed and this is the result of everything,
Yeah.
It's harsh, but it is what it is.
I did feel bad for Leanne because in the last 24 hours, she's been called boring.
Yeah.
And then had to sit through some double date where they all traded compliments and then in the bottom 3.
Gosh, I mean, that's going to knock your confidence, right? Big time.
Do we think this is going to change the dynamic of Scott and Leanne's relationship? Now that obviously Scott is seeing Leanne up there on the bottom, he's no longer favourite boy, do you think these things are going to start playing on his mind and he might have a different view on things and how he plays this game?
I have a bit of a theory. So I think he does like Millie, but from what I've seen, Leanne is very chill. Whereas if he gets with Millie, obviously she's been in everyone's top 3. I'm not saying she's high maintenance, but I feel like he'll have to put more work in. Millie's not as chill as Leanne. I think he'll have to put more work in if he goes to Millie. Whereas with Leanne, he can, they're very smitten, they're getting on really well, but he doesn't have to be with her all the time, grafting all the time.
But do you think that is from a place of comfortability because they're just genuinely happy? Like on the flip side of things, because I do think that is a theory also, but I do think from what we've seen, like Scott and Leanne, like kissing in bed every night, there's surely for this long now, he can't be playing a game. He could be. But it would be
people have been before for longer than that.
They have. They've done the whole stint, to be honest.
Yeah.
But for him to now that Leanne's in the bottom 3 and then we see a change of heart of his feelings towards her, that would be very telling.
Yeah, now Leanne's been in the bottom 3.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how he moves now.
But also
he needs to redeem himself.
How she moves. Because he was the favourite boy and he's been unseated by the guy that he's had a massive row with. So again, the public have sent a very clear message.
Doesn't work in her favour either.
That, a lot of people are Team Sean. Like Scott's face when Sean was announced.
He
looked like his whole plan had just gone out the window.
I wouldn't be surprised. Obviously, tonight's episode, we've got a lot going on, which we'll talk about later. But I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't a big reconciliation between Scott and Sean, led by Scott.
Turn it into a bromance.
But guys, did I not say this yesterday? Yes. Because I just feel like I feel like Scott is so strategic.
Yeah.
And he wants to win. We can feel that energy. And I just feel like absolutely he wants to win over the public and he'll do whatever it takes to win over the public. And I do feel like if he does try and create a bromance with Sean, I think Sean will lean in.
Let's talk about Millie and Curtis. So we did see in last night's episode, Millie was in the beach hut and she was saying a few things in the beach hut that kind of gave off that she wasn't really interested in Curtis. Now, do we feel like she's maybe, led Curtis on a little bit, or she's not really being true to herself and just being open and honest about how she really feels about the situation she's in?
Maybe she's just polite.
Yeah.
Because I would find it quite difficult with anyone. I've been on lots of second and third dates that I shouldn't have been on, just I can't tell people no.
It's true.
So maybe she's just really polite.
Yeah.
And also she doesn't have any other irons to fire in there. She obviously tried it on with Scott, didn't really work out.
Yeah.
And maybe one thing that I love about sort of contestants on things like Love Island is when they really throw themselves in. I hate it when people are like, it's early days. I know it is, but it's Love Island, so you need to. And I think maybe she was just throwing herself into it to see if it worked.
Listen, God loves a trier. She tried it with Curtis and it didn't quite work. They did the dancing. He had his head in between her legs.
I thought she was giving birth to him.
That angle, it really was.
It was the stroke
clip
for me. Him using his hands to stroke the leg, and then I'm like, well, what's happening?
There was
what's
a lot
happening?
of ick-worthy moments. Even him really trying to rub in his face.
Oh yeah,
bless him. It was very much you could see Millie in the background.
It was literally that camera angle, and he was rubbing his. And she was like,
what are you
She's
doing?
like, what are you doing? Yeah. Also, I just feel like she got the ick. And it's like when you've got the ick, that's it, isn't it? It's like
something you can't shake.
And he seems like such a sweet person. And I think the way she handled it was really nice. But also the way he handled it was lovely, but it was also sad because he obviously felt like he was trying really hard and doing everything right. And it wasn't enough. But it's like, things like that are never going to be enough if someone's not into you.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think, she wasn't that into him.
No. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I agree.
In Love Island, that is actually the first time that he has been interested in someone and they've broken it off with him. Because obviously we were together and then Casa Amor happened and then that all kicked off. Well, people disagree of who did what. But anyway, it wasn't like it was me being like, we are done. Then he got with Maura and they got to the final. He got with Ekin Su in All Stars last year. They got to the final. So I wonder if he was like, well, that's just what I do. I go in, I meet someone, I give them everything. It carries on to the end.
Yeah.
Lovely. And it hasn't worked out like that this time. And he sort of doesn't quite know how to deal with that. And like that's why it came out as tears.
Yeah,
probably.
it's a really good point, actually.
Yeah.
He's run out of moves.
Yeah, he's got nothing left.
Yeah.
You know, he gave it
He's
his
like,
all.
the breakfast always works.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah.
It's like he made her the breakfast. But also it's like, you know, obviously Millie was talking about how, you know, the breakfast, it felt too coupley. And it's like, if you're really into someone, you'd
wouldn't care.
Yeah, you wouldn't care. Like
care.
someone's made you breakfast. Like you're like gagged about that. So
Yeah.
All the signs were there, like when they're up on the terrace and he was trying to kiss her and she was like, oh, I've just had cheese and onion crisps. I can't kiss, sorry. And I've seen people do that before.
It's like the worst flavour as well to like have a kiss before.
Yeah.
Oh my
It's
gosh,
like, they weren't even in the kitchen. Where have you got them from? Oh, nowhere.
He didn't see the signs.
No. And then she said, oh, I laugh at you because you're really cringy.
Like, that's not a compliment.
And then he still went in for the kiss. So do you think he was, again, just throwing himself into the experience? Or do you think he just wasn't really reading the signs?
He wasn't reading the signs.
Yeah.
Because her body language to me felt like, I don't fancy you. Like, I feel like I could see it on screen that she just wasn't really that interested in him. But it was almost like the more she pulled away, the more he leant in.
Yes.
And then that's when it's like, okay, now you're like all up in my space. Because actually when she was sitting down and he did the whole like sitting in, putting his head in between her legs, he was like moving her. He was moving her. She wasn't moving herself.
Yeah.
So it's kind
Again,
of like,
polite.
polite.
She is polite.
Polite.
Yeah.
But I think
Say
as
what you want about
women,
her, she's very polite.
but women, we do that though, don't
Yeah.
we? Like we'll be so uncomfortable and we'll be like, that's fine. Even though we're like dying inside.
Don't
like,
worry
this is
about
hellish.
Yeah.
This is actually hellish. And I think she was just doing that because also she doesn't want to embarrass him, does she? Because
Yeah.
what he's doing is already like quite cringe and quite embarrassing. And then to then say it to someone, she just probably doesn't want to make a spectacle of it. But
Because he is, like, that's the thing. She said, you know, you're a good guy, you're really mature and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't dislike him. I just think she doesn't fancy him.
Yeah, there's just no sexual chemistry.
yeah.
So we say, like, he was misreading the signals, but do you think the signals from Millie
We're clear enough.
were clear enough?
I think it's a bit of both because
Yeah.
from me actually watching that, I know that Millie's trying to be polite, but I can understand how Curtis would have taken that as interest, you know, because like she is open to the cuddles, like she will laugh at his jokes. And like even when he does lean in for a kiss, she doesn't ever say no, like she'll laugh it off, but she'll still kiss him, you know, and it's like, she'll laugh in between the kiss and be like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. And like, he's maybe seeing that as, oh, you're just so embarrassed around me. But like, no, she's
say, like,
she's
giggly.
actually embarrassed. Like, it's not like, you know, butterfly embarrassed.
But it's interesting because I feel like we're watching that and we can see that like
As
she's not into
girls,
it. So
we
I
can
always
see.
wonder like when guys do that, I'm like, can you not see that some
I do think
like,
some guys honestly don't like cannot take
Right.
a hint. Like they cannot see past like
so weird.
like
Yeah.
I'm actually like just trying to be polite here and I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
And like the words of affirmation breakfast, it was like a conference, like the four of them having to give each other the compliments
Like,
and
what?
stuff.
No.
And then Scott was trying to get Millie to give him
Yeah.
compliments.
Who do you think's more funny?
Yeah.
Like,
Who do you think has the mature fun ratio
Yeah.
best? And Leanne said, you know, he's trying to make you say him so badly. And Millie was like, this isn't about you,
yeah,
Scott.
that
This is
would
about
have
us.
been so embarrassing.
But obviously, Curtis gave like a full speech about, I think you're this, I think you're that. And Millie was like, you are mature. You are the maturest guy in here. And you are fun.
Yeah.
And again, like the signs were potentially there.
Yeah.
But then he said that I like the way you laugh when you talk about emotional stuff. So maybe he thought, oh, she's just really embarrassed.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think he took all
I
I
just think the signals were misread, but they were also unclear.
Yeah. I guess if you don't
Two
communicate,
things can be true at once.
this is true. If you don't communicate, then people are just going to assume,
Yeah.
and then that's where things get tricky.
And if you like someone, you're not going to assume the worst. Do you know what I mean? You're going to
Yeah.
assume the best of the situation and think, oh, this is great.
yeah,
You know?
And we say this every year, like when you're in the villa, you have to spell it out for people.
Yeah. I'm not interested.
There is no room for grey area in the villa.
When Ella was like, shut it down. You need to make it clear. Friendly is flirty. It's got to stop.
Yeah.
You know? You've got to be very clear.
Yeah. Curtis wasn't like pushing himself on her.
Yeah.
And Millie
No.
wasn't uncomfortable, but you know, we all do it. We're like, oh, I've got cheese on your breath. I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
I don't. Like we're always trying to make everyone else feel better. Whereas, like you say,
no is a full sentence.
Exactly.
So the power of saying no.
Yeah.
And not feeling like we have to be over polite. If you don't want to do something, you don't have to do it.
Yeah. And I also, on the grand scheme of things, I feel like once Millie like set down that boundary, I think she expected Curtis's reaction to be way worse. And he actually handled it really well. You know, he was like, do you know what? We don't have to do this. We don't have to get close and kiss and all this stuff. And he gave her some quite like good advice. Like, you don't need to feel like sad or embarrassed that you're letting me down. Like, I'm a big boy and I can handle this.
Yeah.
So I think she probably felt a bit like, after she told him.
But you know what? We do that as women. Like, we always want to protect people's feelings, don't we? We're like, oh, I don't want him to be really happy.
Big
But they're big boys.
Yeah,
they can
big
handle
boys.
it. And he handled it like a pro. You know, he's let his tears out, walked around the villa, came back out. Sweet.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what happens with Millie now because she's not actually pulled anyone for a chat. Like, everyone's been coming to her. She's been in everyone's top 3. So it's interesting to see where she'll go now, whether it'll be her and Scott or one of the new boys, maybe.
I think it'll be good for Millie to go for one of the new boys because she did say a few episodes ago, you know, even when Ciaran and Samie were kind of edging her on to be like, go and pull Scott, go and pull Scott. She didn't want to step on Leanne's toes because they've got something strong going on. And I think Millie is also someone that doesn't want to be an option, which is why she's been in everyone's top 3, which is why she's not pulled anyone for a chat. She's letting all the boys do the work because she does know her worth and she wants to be someone's first option and she wants it to be, you know, reciprocated. So I think, you know, the bombshells might be her next best bet.
I agree.
Yeah.
I see the bombshells coming in and Millie.
Yeah.
Because they're looking good.
Yeah, then they're from across the water. It's
Ooh,
very different.
Yes. Transatlantic love.
Now, talking of Millie, she has mirrored her previous, obviously, she was favourite girl, favourite boy, Scott, in being the news reporter for the Lucinda, Samie and Ciaran love triangle. She's always there with the latest goings on, letting everyone know, keeping everyone in the loop. Do you think she should be doing that or do you think she should leave well alone? Or do you think it's just because she's got nothing else going on?
She got nothing else to do.
She's literally not in a serious situation. And that's the thing. Like, I'm not going to say like misery loves company, but when you've got nothing to do in the Love Island villa, gossip is the only thing you can do.
The devil makes work for idle thumbs.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you're spreading information and she's probably doing it harmlessly. But this is how we end up having a game of whispers. You know, something ends up on this side and by the end of it, it's a completely different topic.
Yeah.
So,
and she moves quick, didn't she?
She doesn't give people a chance.
Usain Bolt. I'm like, damn, girl. She's really going for it.
Yeah. How different is what Millie's doing in comparison to
Scott?
It's kind of the same, just a little bit less, you know, just a little bit
Yeah.
less vim. But she is carrying the news the same way.
Yeah.
Because she's not doing it round the fire pit. She's
Yeah.
not doing it with an audience. She's not doing it for that sort of like iconic moment. She had her big iconic moment with Charlie dumping him. Like, that only sort of affected Charlie really. Whereas she is like pulling them to one side for chats and stuff. So do you think, as opposed to doing it to stir the pot, to make big moves in the villa, she's sort of doing it just to keep everyone in the loop because nobody else would let the others know?
Yeah, I had to tell you because otherwise she would have found out.
Yeah.
And in all of this, she's been doing this to kind of like protect Lucinda, who was, I guess, her friend. They're friends now, right?
Yeah, I think so.
It's giving like their friends.
We'll ask Jess.
Yeah.
All right,
So
Belle.
I think she's just been trying to stick up for her friend.
It's giving.
It's
giving.
giving.
That
Did you
they're
say
friends.
that?
Yeah, you said
Oh my
it's
God.
giving that they're friends.
They've got me, guys.
They're just
They've got
friends.
me.
They're just friends.
They are just friends.
It's giving hot outside. Why do we think Ciaran has gone back to Samie? Do you think he felt bad for her? Do you think he liked her all along? Or do you think it was the sort of outright lie from Lucinda about the kiss?
I think it's all of the above.
Yeah.
Literally. I think obviously, number one thing, I think the way Samie has carried herself in that situation has really like put her in Ciaran's good book. She didn't crash out. She's very calm about it. And she let him do what he wants. And I think he's gone over to Lucinda and it's like the grass is not greener on the other side. Mm-hmm. The grass is green where you water it.
Yes.
That's what he's realised. And then now this whole, you know, Lucinda literally was in the girls' dressing room saying, oh, Ciaran said he regrets kissing you, which is it's a harsh thing to hear. And we know that, you know, Ciaran made it clear to Samie that he wants to get to know both of them. And he doesn't want to upset any of them, which is why he was like, I'm going to lay off the kissing. So for him to hear that, it's like, if you can lie about that, then I don't know what else you can lie about. And I've actually got a good thing going on with Samie. I just want to get to know you. You're not my kind of girl anymore. So cheerio.
I mean, look, Lucinda seemed quite surprised when Ciaran was like, I never said that. So maybe there's been a miscommunication, things have been misconstrued, and maybe she doesn't think that she lied. But do you think that was what put Ciaran off?
Potentially.
Yeah.
You
I mean,
know?
she did say she hasn't got a good memory. Is that not what she said?
Yeah.
We did see that in the
I
episode.
can't remember,
before.
did she?
That was good.
Yeah, she's got a bit of a, reputation for forgetting things.
Yes.
So maybe she did just forget. But again, it's quite serious things you're forgetting, Lucinda.
Yeah.
It's quite a serious accusation to forget.
Girl.
Didn't forget about when Samie didn't invite you to a launch.
Hey, clock it.
Also, as well, I think the way that Samie dealt with it was very mature.
Yeah.
And then lying about the regretting is potentially very immature. And although
Yeah.
Ciaran's still quite young,
Yeah.
we've seen in this series and also his previous series as well, as much as he's happy to get involved in a bit of drama here and there, he does like having his girl and just sort of sitting to one side and getting to know them.
Yeah, he loves to mind his own business.
Yeah.
He really does. And I think that Ciaran clocked Lucinda's game and he was like, I don't want any parts of this.
Yeah.
Because it's just messy and scandalous. And I think he actually really does want to build a connection with somebody. He has that with Samie. And he probably just thought after Lucinda's fabrication that he just thought, actually, I don't trust this. I don't trust you.
Mm-hmm.
And then he went back to where he knows is safe, and that's Samie. And like you said, she didn't crash out. She handled this really grown. She was just like, fine, okay, we're on a kissing ban. Obviously, it's upsetting, but she let Ciaran do what he needs to do. And then she was always waiting in the wings. And, he looked around and realized that Lucinda's not the right person. And now he's gone back to who he was with in the first place.
Yeah. I mean, we did say, was it yesterday or the day before? We did say, we think Ciaran's going to go back to Samie.
Yeah, did say that.
What's that quote? When you love someone, let it go. If they come back, that's how you know.
Oh!
How sweet is that?
We'll be using that next week. We'll drop it out and then we'll use it and we
It was
made
my
it up.
MSN name back in the day.
But I mean, guys, we're nearly halfway through the series.
Can you believe this?
And
Wild.
breaking news, we may have our second couple.
Breaking news! Hey!
Wow.
It's a lot of singles at the moment. I feel like the final could just be a vote for favourite boy and favourite girl at this rate. It doesn't matter if they're not coupled up.
I
Those are
know.
your winners, 25 grand each. Thank you. Tonight, there are 6 new bombshells
That's
going
a lot
in.
of bombshells.
So exciting.
And they're from America. It's like a summer series merged with All Stars.
Yeah.
We're going to get to know new people. And hopefully some of them will sweep our singletons off their feet and we'll get some new couples.
Yeah, it's going to be spicy.
And that is all we have time for this morning,
No.
ladies. I know. Jackie, will you be here again tomorrow morning?
Obviously.
We'll pick up where we left off.
Yes, can't wait.
Don't forget to leave us a comment. Tell us what you thought of that dumping and we'll see you here, same time, same place tomorrow morning. Mwah.